I never understood why parents have such a hard time forcing their kids to eat green beans. I love green beans. Maybe because the Chinese way of making it is just so tasty.
I like green beans.
Shush! Today I'm going to show you how to make dry fried green beans with minced pork and Chinese olive vegetables. That's really long. In Chinese it's 乾扁藍菜四季豆肉. So I guess that's long too. Okay, anyways, it's easy to make, super tasty, and goes so well with rice. I'm going to give you all the tips to make it as tasty as the restaurant without all the oil. Let's start with the beans. When you look for your beans at the supermarket, try to find something that is young. So a skinnier one where the bean is a little less developed or mature, because the plump bean inside means this is an older bean. So an older bean means it's more fibrous. So try to get the ones that's less old. Snap off the ends and try to pull off the fibrous string that comes with it. Just snap them in half. Typically you would use minced pork to make this dish, but I find that pre-ground pork is too soft and mushy, so you should cut it by hand. I'm using pork butt for this because it has a good blend of fat and lean meat. This is the same part that you would use for Chinese barbecue pork. First slice the meat thinly, then cut it into strips, then dice it. So now each of these pieces will be like grains and they would give a good bite. So let's marinate the meat. Soy sauce, sugar, white pepper to get rid of the porky taste. Let's mix that in first. When you marinate meat, you would put the spices in first before the cornstarch, so the spices can penetrate the meat. Just a little bit is enough here. And now, seal it off with some oil. Helps to keep the flavor in and make it smoother and easier to break apart when you cook. Let that sit for a little bit. You'll also find that people use some sort of pickled vegetable or salted vegetable to go with this dish. And if you want to make this dish completely vegetarian, you can actually omit the pork as well. That's totally fine. Just add a little bit more of your pickled or salted vegetables in the dish. So for Sichuan people, they like to use ya cai, and for Taiwanese people, they like to use dong cai. For Cantonese, we like to use Chinese olive vegetables. That's lam choy. What is Chinese olive vegetable? It's a condiment made of olives. Yes, olives from the Jiuzhou region in Guangdong is actually famous. There's actually an episode on Netflix called Flavorful Origins, specifically about olives there. So check it out, it's worth watching if you haven't seen it yet. So this condiment is made of olives, mustard greens, salt, and oil. It's rich, savory, and has a deep umami flavor, and it's good for stir fries and actually good as like a little side dish for plain foods like congee. I highly recommend you to get yourself one of these jars. It will be a flavor bomb for your dishes. You can use both the vegetable and the oil in this, and sometimes you might even find an olive in there, but you probably want to pick that out because the pits are very sharp. Alright, so now prepare the rest of the ingredients, then you're ready to go. Mince 2 to 3 cloves of garlic, cut up and deseed your dry chili, get your soy sauce, oyster sauce, and sugar ready. We're ready to rumble. Let's dry fry the beans. Heat up your wok on high, add a little bit of oil in the wok and add in the beans.
Didn't you say it's dry frying? Why do you have oil?
Think of dry frying as drying out your ingredients. You're using super high heat to fry out the water or oil content so the flavor is more intense. You're not adding any marinade or seasoning in this step. When the water content is removed, then you add in additional flavorings or ingredients. So dry frying doesn't mean no oil. At restaurants, they would deep fry the beans to remove the moisture. At home, we'll just do it with a little patience and some oil. Fry your beans till it changes to a deep green color. A little blistering and char is what you're looking for. Take it out and set it aside. On medium heat, add in your meat and stir fry till it changes color. Add in your minced garlic, olive vegetable, and dried chili. Stir fry till it's fragrant. Add your beans back in, splash in some water, add half a teaspoon of sugar, half a teaspoon of oyster sauce, and half a teaspoon of soy sauce, and cook it down. This is the time for the beans to absorb the flavor. You want the beans to be soft but with a nice bite. You can test this out by softly poking the bean with your wok spatula. If it goes through, that means you have the right texture. Cook it till all the liquid is absorbed and evaporated. At the end, there shouldn't be any liquid or sauce left over in the wok. Scoop up a big bowl of rice and like and subscribe. If you like this recipe, make sure to check out this recipe. I'm sure you'll love it as well. Thanks for watching and I'll see you next time. By the way, Kevin approves.